What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe. I'm going to talk about my Loki Prime build today. It's definitely a different build than what I've done on most of my other builds in the past. I wanted to try something different, and it's easily offered the capabilities of doing something different with the fact that it does come with 2 additional polarity slots above its original, and it also comes with more power. We all know now that Loki has the most power out of any frame that's available out there, and has the increased power stats over his basic version of the frame. So it's the first frame that actually has an increase in stats that we know and we can visually confirm, per se. So with that said, let's kind of get into this and talk a bit about it. So what I've got here is I'm running energy siphon. I'm running energy siphon on my aura, and that's going to obviously keep bringing me back my energy. And it's going to grow up my energy, and that energy is going to reach a max level of 525 in the power. So you're going to have a lot to do with that 525 power. There's a lot of ways you could work, and this will actually help you build the frame to a more advanced level, if you will, from using standard mods that you would normally use. Okay, we are going to use the 4 abilities. We got Decoy, which we know Loki deploys a holographic copy of himself, and that draws enemy fire. We got Invincibility, where he camouflages himself, becoming invisible to enemies. We got the Teleport, where he instantly swaps positions with himself or with a target, confusing the enemy. Then we got Radial Disarm, that sets a wave of energy disrupting any projectiles, and of course forces them to revert to using a melee combat, or the pogo stick, if you will. So with that in there, what we're going to do is start working on the actual build itself. So I'm going to start with a quick thinking on here, which is going to drain energy to stop lethal damage with a 240% efficiency. Basically, at worst level, you get down to 2 health. It just starts draining your energy to keep you alive until you regain health, of course. Along with that, though, you need to combo that with a rage mod. So the rage mod is going to convert plus 40% of your damage on your health to energy. So that means you're going to always have the energy to convert back to health to keep yourself alive. And it's always good to have the energy siphon, of course, to go with it. Now, what you also want to do is you want to have the max amount of health that you can possibly have. So that, in this case, is going to require using a vitality mod. I don't have a max vitality mod. I have one below max, but I'm going to put that in the D aura slot, or the D polarity slot that's there as well. Give me a 400% health increase. So that's going to help me out, as my basic health is 525, as well as my power now. But this will help me. There's many ways you can go and bring that back up. Most notably, this build is going to work really well with a melee weapon that has life strike. So you can quickly strike an enemy, get your life back, and you're good to go again. But with that said, there's still a couple of things we need to do here. To get our max power, we're going to need to add a flow mod. It's 150% additional power max. So max frame at 30, adding the flow mod will give us that 525 power, which is really, really good. Which obviously, like I said, with the quick thinking and the rage, it's going to allow you to do a lot more with this frame and be a little bit more advanced in terms of gameplay. You can spam your stuff a little bit more because you have that extra power to work with. But what I want to do also is I actually want to use Streamline on here. I'm going to use a 30% power efficiency. Just Streamline, doesn't need fleeting expertise, because I don't want to lose my duration on this, since, you know, 2 of his abilities are based off of duration, which is the 2 abilities you're going to use most, is the Decoy and the Invisibility. Radial Disarm is not based off of duration, so we're not too worried about that, but those 2 abilities you're going to use the most are, so we don't want to lose duration, so we're using Streamline to streamline all that power that we have, which now means that we can basically, if we really wanted to, spam off any ability as much as we really wanted to. I mean, you can get 5 or 6 Radial Disarms out in a row if you really wanted to with the full max power and still have power left. But It still leaves me one slot to work with after I put in Streamline. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use Constitution here, the double stat mod, which you get off of Nightmare runs. This is going to add a 40% knockdown recovery in case I do get knocked down by any Ancients or any enemy by any chance, you know, heavy gunners, that type of stuff. It does happen. And it's going to also increase my power duration by 28%. So that's going to give me a little bit more duration on my two things that I utilize the most. And that's going to make me happy in the long run. I have tested this build successfully in many runs already, all the way through Tier 3 and even into Tier 4 Voids. A little bit more difficult in Tier 4 Voids, especially if you're not using the right weapons or you're not paying attention. You can still die. It's not saying that you can't die. It's just, it's a lot harder to die if you are using, like I said, the right weapons, including a melee that does have Life Strike to get you your power back. But I mean, it's a great frame. I think what makes this really good is I still have 12 extra points to work with. So if I ever want to change things around a bit, to mess around with things, I can move cards around, I can swap things up and down. I've got 12 points to still work with in my frame build, even using maxed out cards. We'll say 11 points because I need to put on the max vitality mod at some point. But that's about it for this frame. I'm going to throw it up on the screen for you to see. Let me know what you think. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Any questions, anything, let me know. If you like this, hit that like button for me. If you're not subscribed and you want to subscribe, please do subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Stay tuned. Got a lot more coming up. And we'll see you soon.